Okay everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today's video is a little bit exciting. As most of you may or may not know, I've got the kitchen set up at the back of the Pajero. Now I'm really just trying to finesse that and just get it to something I'm happy with. Not that I'm unhappy with the situation at the moment, but I just want to improve it. Now, you know that I've got the lithium batteries, so I've got about 300 amp hours worth of lithium batteries. I've got the King's 1500 watt inverter. I've got the induction cooker, which is a 2000 watt induction cooker, which I can only run at about 1000 watts before we get too high for the 1500 watt inverter. Also done some testing with a little air fryer, a little 2.5 litre air fryer that I had. Those of you who follow along at home, you'll know that we've also got the Road Chef 12 volt oven that I've got over the back. Once I tried the induction cooker, having trouble justifying the space for the 12 volt oven. I really am. Compared to the air fryer, the time that it takes to cook things, how well it cooks things, and I've been thinking about just getting rid of it. I'm no longer using it to cook anything because the air fryer is just that much more convenient. I've got ample power. For example, if I wanted to cook, say, a frozen chicken schnitzel, and I wanted to take it out of the freezer in the car, and I wanted to cook it, I'd have to preheat the Road Chef, probably for at least a half an hour. I would throw the chicken schnitzel in there, and you're probably talking at least an hour, probably closer to 2. From an efficiency perspective, it's not too bad. Even running it for the 2 hours at full tits, you know, let's call that 20 amps. So it's not too bad from that sort of perspective to cook that little chicken schnitzel, but it's going to take me about 2 hours plus the half an hour or so to preheat it. Now that's if it's frozen. If it's not frozen, obviously it's going to take less. If I want to do that same chicken schnitzel and go and throw it into my air fryer, I don't have to defrost it, I don't have to preheat the oven, I just go and throw it in, I put it in for about 15 minutes, 15 to possibly 20 minutes, and it's done. No preheating, no 2 hours, no driving along with it, no messing about, it's just done. 15 to 20 minutes and it's ready to go. So with that in mind, I've been just giving some thought to thinking, you know, I'd really like it if there was something in the same form factor, and even it might be worth getting in touch with a supplier or something and say, hey, here's a market opportunity. If you can produce a little air fryer that takes up that same sort of space as that 12 volt oven, I reckon you'd be onto something. Funnily enough, I was on the radio this morning talking to one of my friends, James, who, mate, you're wholly responsible for this, James. I blame James for this. And he's basically followed in the same footsteps as me within going with the lithium batteries, basically the same setup that I've got over the back. Lyson cells, so 300 odd amp hours worth of lithium battery, the 250 amp Dali BMS, and the 1500 watt King's inverter. And he told me about his most recent purchase, and I've just got back from picking up mine. I think this is the icing on the cake, and I think if any of you are in the same situation, you've got your lithium batteries, and you've got your inverters and all that sort of stuff, and you're running a 12 volt oven, I reckon I can almost 98% guarantee you're going to make the same change. Let me go and grab it. Come and have a look at this. Alright, now this is the Ninja Foodi Flip Air Oven. I didn't actually realise that there was things out there like this. People were all telling me in the comments that there's combination air fryer, oven, microwave. This is not that. This does oven and air fryer, but doesn't do microwave. Not too concerned about that. What I'm most interested in is the form factor in this. Now, there are going to be obvious challenges of trying to figure out how to mount it and all that sort of stuff. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. What I really want to do is just give you a look at this, and I think you're going to be equally impressed. James, you're a bloody genius, mate. That's it, I guess, compared to the Road Chef, so it is a bit wider. But that's roughly what it's going to look like once we get it mounted, if we can figure out how to mount it. Now there is this flip functionality where the unit will go from being horizontal, just sitting on your bench like that, to being flipped. We're not going to be able to use this functionality, which is unfortunate because that would be handy. But if you're looking for something for a caravan, or if you're floor mounting this, we're going to be mounting this to K-on rack. If you're floor mounting this, this might be ideal for you for a space saver. If this is kind of your setup, and you've got it sort of floor mounted in the back of your car, so you can see, for example, say I had it mounted like that and I wanted to use it, and then all I could do, and then all I'd have to do is flip it up like that, and then you've got that space back. Having it mounted to the K-on rack, that's really just a useless nothing feature. But if you've got your four-wheel drive set up where you're going to floor mount that could be bloody brilliant. Keep in mind, that's how tall it is once you stand it up. You need about 4 inches at the back from where you would mount that hinge. The hinge is just plastic, so you could probably just drill straight through that, and that could be your mounting point for holding it down. James, if you're paying attention. Now, I was looking at another Breville option, which you'll see here. I was tossing it between this one and that one. This one I picked up for $329, so it had previously been on sale. It did have a sticker on it saying $459 or $449 or something like that. Ultimately, if the Breville was about the same weight, like I thought it was, but it wasn't. It was the same power rating, so 2400 on both of them, albeit, again, that I've been assured that this runs at 1800, then it would have been the Breville we'd be doing a review of right now. Now I've just ducked back and measured the Travel Buddy, so it's 8 inches high, which is pretty much bang on with this. It is 11 inches wide. This is coming in at 20, so this is definitely wider, and it was 13 inches deep. So we are looking at maybe 14. I'm not sure of the weight of the Road Chef. I will put that up on the screen. Again, this was coming in around about the 8 to 9 kilos, so let's just ballpark it at 10. Come and have a look at this. I reckon this is gonna look Mickey Mouse up on that K-on rack. I think that's just bloody awesome. Now, because James has got the same unit, we basically have exactly the same unit, exactly the same setups. We're both in the market for a 3000 watt inverter now, because he has tested and the King's 1500 watt is not doing it. Once we get it inside, I'll plug it in, we'll put our power meter on, we'll see what it's actually pulling off the 240 volt. So this is really for James, because he wanted to know what this was going to pull. So let's just turn her on, minutes, and start. All right, James, we just spiked at 2413. So the good news is here, from an air fryer perspective, it's performing exactly the same as the other one was, in that it has a short duty cycle. It comes on and then goes off, comes on, goes off, comes on, goes off. So it's not running in at 2400 watts the entire time. Okay, so I'm just talking to James on the radio. 0.393 kilowatt hours. Run it for 20 minutes at full power, so at 205 degrees Celsius.
0.4, very roughly 0.4 of a kilowatt hour, we're saying.
That's correct, mate, that's correct. 34 or 39 amps per hour?
I'll just take you through a count. It's actually pretty straightforward. So you said that it's used 0.4 of a kilowatt hour, so that's the same as 400 watt hours.
Yep.
To take that down to amps, just divide that by 12. So 400 divided by 12 yields 33.333 amps. So that's 33 amp hours. So that's what, a bit over 10% of the battery capacity used.
You can't just run them at a lower temp and then get them to run at a lower power draw like you could with the induction cooker. So the induction cooker that I've got over the back is a 2000 watt. I can run that at 1000 watts and cook with that, and it just pulls basically 1000 watts. With your air fryers, it's all about duty cycles. It's kind of like a PWM sort of thing. It's on, it's off. It's on, it's off. If it says it's 1800 watts, then when it's cycling, it's going to be 1800 watts, and then it's going to turn off, and it's going to come back on, pull 1800 watts, turn off, come back on, do 1800 watts. There's no running at a lower power draw. The only concern that I have with this unit, and we may need to modify it for this, with the Road Chefs and the Travel Buddies, you've got the latch, positive latch, to close that, close the front so it doesn't pop open while you're driving. This has a little bit of a spring action, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to hold it shut if we're doing some forward driving and whatever, and you've got loaded up with food, that very well might just pop open and throw your food everywhere. Keeping in mind that because this is not the 12-volt oven, I'm not going to have to preheat this and have my food in it cooking while I'm driving. I'm just going to be able to pull up, and while I'm setting up camp, throw my food in, frozen or otherwise. That's our tray from the bottom. And just throw my food in, and within sort of, 15 minutes, it's going to be ready. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? I don't need to preheat the oven for half an hour just because I'm going to put something cold in it. I'm not going to have to drive around for 2 hours waiting for my food to be ready. Don't get me wrong, they're great and everybody loves them. But when you've got the lithium over the back that I've got and James has got, why not use it? Like, it's just sitting there. Like, how many other things are you going to be using to pull 300 amps? You're just not. Like, don't get me wrong, the induction cooker, it's going to suck a bit of power, and I do use that. But even with putting this in here, I'm starting to wonder whether I even need the induction cooker. Because I can certainly be cooking sausages in here. I can do pizza in here. The only thing that I really think I need the induction cooker possibly for is for boiling water. Now, I can certainly get away with a kettle. I do like my sausages and stuff fried though, when I'm going camping, rissoles and that, but I can be doing rissoles, steaks, sausages, baking things, just anything that I can fry. I don't know. I just don't know whether there's anything that I need that induction cooker for that I can't do with this. Now, I did play with this and rattle it to see whether it's going to rattle while I'm driving, and it probably is. So I'm going to have to come up with something there as well. I can certainly just chuck something in it and sort that out. But let's be honest, the Road Chef rattles as well. That's roughly the space we've got in there. So it's not massive. Again, I did beat myself up as to whether I wanted to go with this one or the other one, and this one won out. So we'll see how we go. There's going to be a video coming up of this, in several weeks once I get a chance to figure out how I'm going to get it mounted. We do some testing. I need to go and get that 3000 watt inverter. I'm actually tossing up, I did look at the Kings, I was on the phone ordering it just because I can go locally and go and pick one up within half an hour. And then I had a look online and saw that Renogy's got one for $3.99. Now the Kings one was $4.60, $4.49, something like that. So for 50 odd bucks I can get the Renogy. Renogy's got a good name. I have seen some iffy reviews on them though, but I figure for the channel, I've been happy with the Kings. I'm happy to go and roll the dice and try the Renogy one just to see how it goes and to give you guys a bit of feedback on it, and we'll do a review on that as well. So when I get around to doing the proper review, I'll give you a real detailed look. We'll cook some stuff in it, we'll do some testing, we'll check the power draw, all that sort of stuff. I've had a chat to James and he's done some testing on his unit as well. Happy to report that he now has his Kings 3000 watt inverter. In his words, he's keen to see how the Renogy one goes because he's had a few issues with the Kings. Now, I don't know what that means exactly. He didn't elaborate. It has been working. Got it mounted. When I get a chance to catch up with James, we'll give you a look at his unit as well. We'll give you a look at my unit all mounted, etc. He does have this working in the forward drive. He's got it set up. He's got his Kings 3000 watt inverter. He's got the same battery setup that I've got. It's all working for him. So once I get my Renogy, which should happen tomorrow, but I'm back at work, so the next couple of weeks or so I should be able to give you an update and show some testing on the Renogy, and I'll get more detail on what's going on with James's Kings. I'm happy to report the BMS for James's is supporting the load on this, so that's good. We've got the same setup, so mine's going to work as well. That said, if you're interested in following in mine and James' footsteps, keep an eye out for the review and additional testing to come, subscription, all that sort of stuff, if that's what you want to do. And then if all that works and I do end up going to a workshop and getting to knock something up, some brackets for this to mount to the K-On rack, I might get them to, depending on costs and all that sort of stuff, and if there's enough interest down in the comments, so let me know, I might get them to make up some additional ones. And then I can sell them on or something. I'd probably do them for like cost plus $5 or something like that, just for time. If you look at me go, this bloke's a dickhead, you don't need this in the back of the car, don't worry about it. Yeah, but feel free to put that in the comments. If you're at the other end of the spectrum and you're like I was when James mentioned it to me and went, but that James is a bloody genius, I'm on this. I literally went straight out and got one. Had a look at a couple of reviews and then went straight out and got one. Put it down in the comments, let me know, and if that bracket thing is something you might be interested in, let me know as well. This great looking little unit, a bit like me really. Now if there's anybody out there that does air fryers that wants to send me some so we can test them in the car and see whether you've got something that works, it would need to be in this configuration. It needs to be in a box configuration that can be accessed from the front. Now if you make air fryers and you've seen the Travel Buddies and all those sorts of things, and you can do us something like this that will be up to the heavy, you know, to getting thrown around a little bit before drive. Give us a mounting unit, same as the Travel Buddy and all that sort of stuff, so we can mount it up top, mount it down bottom, supply us the brackets. I reckon you'd have them knocking down your door. So here's my little mate down here, he's coming out for a quick cuddle and a kiss. We're going to go inside and let this thing do its thing. So my Road Chef Ovens days are numbered. On a more personal note, have yourself a Merry Christmas, have yourself a safe holiday, enjoy your new year, have a beer for me, and catch up with your family and tell them you love them. Thanks very much for stopping by. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.